What's poppin', Guardians? It's Artiphite with a challenge of can he not make any more solar hunter builds? The answer is no. I'm probably still gonna forever do that because I love a lot of them, and they're a lot more easier than other builds because Warlock and Titan are very slim in exotics that are fun, and it sucks. And I am saying this as a flex player who likes playing all of them. And IMO Downblade is probably the best class in the game. So like, yeah, I'm not a hunter main. So this is even more funnier for me because it is very much back-to-back solar hunter videos, and for good reason, because Hardlight has some amazing TTK with the latest buff of the fundamentals, and especially with RDM, which is finally in a chill spot, but it's still very strong, and especially on Hunter. I thought Lion's Rampart, which is very strong on Titan, and I'll show you in a wee ran footage later, it's very good, especially with DMT, because you're able to float up in the air and just get consistent headshots. But no, I think Radiant Dash Machine is still extremely strong. So real quick, Radiant Tap Machines, it does three things. It's going to give you a better hip fire accuracy, not as important with Hardlight, but is still very good in other weapons like DMT or Last Word. But most importantly, it's going to give you plus 3 tiers of mobility, which is great and especially very strong in the upcoming Edge of Fate changes. But most importantly, final blows with primary weapons while you have a full dodge charge is going to overflow it and create more charges. That's fantastic because with Gunslinger on Acrobat Dodge, you can also use this on Prismatic if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's possible. And the extra charges are important because with Acrobat's Dodge, it's going to enable you to get the fundamentals perks rolling, which is going to be whenever you get a solar matching damage type with Hardlight and a buff of the same element, is going to give you a 10% damage boost. That doesn't sound like a lot, but remember, that's stacking with Radiant, which is Radiant in PvP, is also 10% of a damage boost, which is nutty because now we're gonna go over to Foundry. So we begin with a 0.8 TTK, 9 headshots. Fundamentals alone is gonna drop it significantly to 0.7 TTK of 8 headshots in order to kill. But with Radiant, that's more forgiving, 7 headshots, 1 body. And that does change with tiers, but that doesn't really matter because that gets more finicky, and especially in Edge of Fate, there's no more going to be a tier system. But 0.7 TTK on an auto rifle, which again in the game it has a rough time with rounding, it's fast, it's really fast. And I do use one surge, and you can see right now too, it does change it to exactly 7 headshots, 0.6 TTK, which is really crazy. And if you have a really good time handling the recoil that the gun has, you're gonna melt people, which I do in these clips following right now. But back to the subclass, it is very similar, very much the standard. On your mark, knock them down. You already know what these do compared to the last video. If you haven't already, please do so. Arc's Embrace is very crazy, let alone just Hunter Solar is right now in a very strong state. But on your mark, increase your weapon handling and reload, and knock them down refunds your radiant knives, so that you get a constant just throwing of knives, which is great because lightweight knife got buffed, and these things are homing missiles. These things curve. They're crazy. They're really crazy and really strong and really scary. A lot of times I just swapped to Solar Hunter in my comp line because lightweight knives just ensured that two crits with the 140 hand cannon and a lightweight knife was just a super easy kill cleanup. Healing Grenade, very good. And the fragments, Solus, increase radiant and restoration effects. Empyrean, because you're going to be getting kills with Hardlight, which is solar, it's going to extend the duration of restoration and radiant, which is great. This isn't as important just because you're going to get constant kills and Acrobat's Dodge is going to refresh often, but it is nice in case if you have some overlapping times and you just want to make sure you're just getting a good consistency. Plus, minus some resilience is fine. You're a hunter anyway, so no big deal. Tempering, because you're getting weapon kills with solar, so you're going to create fire sprites, you're going to get airborne recovery, you're going to get airborne effectiveness, recovery, so it tops off your 9 tiers, or if you have anything lower or whatever. And then Edge of Fate, of course, is going to be different. Beams, which is going to make it so your blade barrage is a lot more consistent and it's very nice. And Mercy, because picking up a fire strike is also going to give you restoration, so therefore you get tempering kill with hard light. You're going to get a second kill, which is going to give you Mercy. You proc Acrobat Dodge so you can get Radiant and keep the loop going with Empyrean and so on and so forth. You can do something with Benevolence, because Benevolence is also extremely good. I don't think it's necessary because it's mainly for yourself. If you want to play something that's team-based, then I would suggest the Frosty's video if I already made it. If I haven't made it, scream at me in the comment section below, because it's a very good build. It's like my field medic build, and probably will get slight adjustments in Edge of Fate. So we'll visit that build later. Here are the mods, most importantly, of course, targeting and unflinching on Harmonics, because it's very important that you make sure that Hardlight is going to be at its tip-top performance. Especially triple unflinching is very good. It makes it feel a lot more better, especially in those very tight duels where TTKs are starting to match. But Surge is very much important because you're going to make sure this is going to allow you to get to the 0.6 TTK. That's very important to have. I use double Reaper and time dilation, as this build is mainly revolving around that, so just keep that in mind that this section has changed. Now I end this video off by saying, I don't know how you get hard light, honestly. If you're a new player and you're seeing this video, I'm not 100% sure. I would check Xur from Friday to Monday to see if you can get a roll with them or if he has it. But I think this just generally drops in the world, so I'm not too sure. I think we need to start a discussion in the comments on like, how do you get hard light as a new player? I don't know. Someone needs to answer that. But anyways, fun build, great unique changes, and most importantly, take it easy, Guardians.